Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Okay, I just was reading, I don't know when, are we hearing from Madeline Westerhout?
Is that today or
Here's
tomorrow?
why I love her. She's the one that got drunk and talked about Trump and his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she got fired, remember, from the White House. On August 29th, 2019, she was fired after it was revealed she had shared details about Trump's family with reporters, reportedly while intoxicated.
Oh, boy.
At an off-the-record dinner. She was fired because she boasted of having a better relationship with Trump than his daughters and said Trump did not like to be photographed with Tiffany because he considered her overweight.
Wow, what a lovely father he is.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And Stormy Daniels just revealed that when she asked Trump about Melania, he said they don't even sleep in the same bed.
Yeah. That's good to get confirmation of that.
Of course not. It'd be best if you sleep your orange fat ass somewhere else.
Once she got the kid,
If you roll over on me, I do not have the resilience to survive that.
Trump doesn't seem like Trump doesn't seem like he'd be the type to spoon you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you just feel that tiny little mushroom in your back. Bing, 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 bing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we were asking your relative level of, happy clappiness, confidence about the election. We were saying there's going to be all different kinds of worry this time, right? Including the Russians, including, Chinese, the Netanyahu. There are so many bad actors that want nothing but more than for Trump to be back in office, right? Howard Stern lashed out against backlash to his interview with President Biden, which was fantastic.
It was.
Oh, my God. Denying that he was fed any scripted questions and that Biden wore an earpiece. I mean, they cannot process Biden being a great president who is a great guy. Who, and obviously Howard Stern just pointed a lot of that out. He's just a decent, empathetic human.
And if he did wear an earpiece, rad. We have somebody who understands how to use an earpiece.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Stern lashed out at social media conspiracies that Biden wore an earpiece during the interview. He said, "You've got to be kidding me. First of all, we controlled all the audio." He defended the interview against critics who claimed it was too soft and didn't dive into policy enough. He said, "My whole goal was not to sit there and talk politics. I'm not into that. I don't want to debate policy. My only agenda is I'd like to get to know the president. I suspect he's a very meaningful, very thoughtful guy." I mean, as I was saying, Allison, Howard Stern's become the best interviewer, I think, of our generation. And it was just a great interview.
It did. It turned out great, and it really upset the New York Times because
What is up with the New York Times? I mean, when they keep saying like, "Oh, are we supposed to be like a part of the Biden campaign?" No, just report the facts. Right? I mean, that's what drives me crazy is like
they have the arrogance to think that they are owed this interview.
Right.
And it just reminds me of like dudes, like dude bros who think I owe them a debate. Like, no. In fact, the reason that most of us get called to the White House and get all these briefings is because Joe Biden and this White House knows that that's the way to communicate now, not through the New York Times.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Allison's referring to them being in a snit because they couldn't get an interview and literally saying, focus the negative stories on his age and blah, blah, blah. And then, it's a shock that comes up in polling when they've done 75 stories on Biden's too old. And then, voters think Biden's too old. They have 75 Republicans on to lie about Trump's record in the economy. And then they go, but the polling shows people think Trump was better on the economy. And it's like, of course.
They create the problem so that they can report on.
Right. Right.
And they buy these polls that pad their bottom line because they scare people.
Yeah. I always refer to like Dick Cheney, right? Planting the lie with his stenographer, Judith Miller, about WMD. And then citing the New York Times as how he knew there were WMDs in Iraq, right? Are there words to describe how despicable Bill Barr is? I mean, he's been opening his big yap about how guilty Trump is anywhere that will have him, right? And now he's like, but I'm going to vote for him. He's a clear and present danger to the country, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this guy is just despicable.
Oh, absolutely. And his actions are the source of 99% of why people are mad at Merrick Garland.
Yeah. No, I get that part. You said as far as the coup investigation goes, he did not wait 2 years or 18 months or even 6 months. He began investigating Trump when he got there. It's also untrue that he wanted a bottom-up investigation. That was an incorrect assumption the media made. It's also untrue that he didn't do anything until Jack Smith was appointed. And as evidenced by my, your list is very exhaustive, I must say. It's very... Points well taken. And also, you said P.S. Sally Yates would have likely recused from an investigation into Trump if she were named the Attorney General. So I get it that people have this idea or that idea of how, what, although I stick by Attorney General Glenn Kirshner as being the answer to everything, but it's a personal bias. But the problem, Allison, is, and you make a lot of good points of how we got here. But the point is, we're here, right? And for as much as people are like, oh, the Alvin Bragg thing isn't the most important case or whatever, it looks like this is the only case, isn't it? That's going to come to completion before the election.
Yeah, I think so too. And even if Merrick Garland had somehow been able to indict Donald Trump a year earlier, which would be next to impossible. The Supreme Court would still have dragged us to this place where we are right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the Supreme Court, I think, is almost the most depressing part.